Namibia made international headlines over its decision to auction off a male rhino trophy permit last year. Animal rights groups not only criticized it, but threatened to put pressure on governments of developed countries to impose sanctions on Namibia. The groups argue that such permits and trophy hunting would eventually contribute to the possible extinction of endangered species, as is the case in other countries. The country's conservancy model under the Community-Based Natural Resource Management (CBNRM) program was also questioned, and if these groups get their way, it could spell the death of communal conservancies in the country. Director of Namibian Association of CBNRM support organizations, Maxi Lewis, says the program had borne fruits, most notably in the Kunene region, by giving communities ownership of wildlife. She says critics, however, should look at the bigger picture, that of wildlife recovery and environmental restoration that comes with hunting. Namibia's wildlife recovery rate is estimated to be one of the fastest in Africa.
It is unfair in a way because I don't see it being balanced, because it's somebody somewhere sitting on a computer, have never been here, and then starting creating perceptions based on, activities that happen somewhere else, and trying to base that, okay, everybody that hunts or everybody that does sustainable wildlife management must be doing it not correct, and so it's wrong.
Tourism business operators now also fear that their businesses will be affected with possible closure if the animal rights groups push through with the demands of sanctions against the Namibian government. And the closure of businesses in turn would result in job losses and no concession fees for communities and no tax to the state. One such tourism business owner is Dennis Liebenberg from Etendeka mountain campsite in the remote northwest Kunene region. He tells me that if sustainable wildlife use cannot be of benefit to locals, then the country can easily slide back to pre-independence period where they had no control and poaching decimated game populations.
Photographic tourists don't like to see hunting. They don't want to hear about hunting generally, and sustained utilization is always a difficult one for them to understand. So they would like to just come to a place like this and operate in an area which is very much like a park, and see the animals running around free and happy, and they don't want to hear about hunting. But hunting is part of the development and sustainability of the whole.
We asked few of those employed at conservancies their views on conserving wildlife and trophy hunting.
Government actually needs to look into this issue. So instead of just dying out, these animals need to be utilized in a sustainable way. So this is the main thing, and that also try to emphasize. And some tourists are kind of like, we don't like it, but they kind of get to understand.
We're making a very good communication with the guests by talking to them more open, asking their questions. Sometimes it is a bit difficult because some of the guests, they ask an unexpected question.
How the Environment and Tourism Ministry would deal with these concerns from pressure groups to save hundreds of jobs, payments to communities and ultimately ensure the success of the program remains to be seen. But stakeholders say they are ready to meet the state halfway to prove to other countries that benefits from the program can outweigh the negatives with proper management. Blanche Correses, NBC News.